Hello and welcome back to the La Project with me, your host Han Royani, and my co-host
BJ, what's up?
We're a facetious podcast that talks about world politics and also news events.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I have to remind every episode, that we do talk about this stuff. So don't take us that seriously.
It's okay, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to remind myself what my name is.
Yeah. Took you a while tadi to. But anyways,
Oh my god.
recapping on what happened over the last week. You know, there were
Eventful?
eventful. Not just in Malaysia, but also outside of Malaysia.
Yes.
So last week, in Thailand and Cambodia, there were some friction between the two countries, and guess who came to save the day?
Supano.
Yeah, our very own PMX.
Yeah, let's go.
We're not exactly, the
biggest
supporters of Anwar, but that was a cool thing.
Dude, that was a win though.
That was a win.
Malaysia brokering peace in the region.
Yeah.
Like in the same year that we are also the ASEAN chair.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dude.
So that was nice. But I don't know if you really saw the picture. But the iconic picture that we all might have seen, it's like Anwar in the middle and then the Thai and the Cambodia.
Yes.
Like at the side.
At Putrajaya.
If you notice at the back, they were like US and China flags.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, I think that is partly the reason why Trump was saying like, oh, I fix the peace or whatever. He said, he tweeted or something. He said, I'm the president of peace or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he said that, because he thinks that he solved the conflict.
Yeah.
But even though there were influences, not just from the US, but also from China. But I would say the one that chaired everything, the one that, the one that made sure both parties came to the table and making sure that there's an unconditional ceasefire. So, kind of glad to have someone like that that's able to, broker a peace like that.
Yeah. But, do you know what started it all?
As far as I know, it's been going on for like decades.
It has, but the recent skirmish that happened was basically because of, it's a pseudo thing of both religious and border dispute.
Right.
So along the Thai and Cambodia border, there's quite a few old, like hundreds of years old temples,
right?
priyas and all that.
So both countries are trying to claim that.
Yeah, right. Basically, to get down to the gist of it is that Cambodia is claiming that most of them are theirs. Thailand is claiming the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, though, it's mostly the Thai Buddhist temples,
right?
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
so I don't know. It's a convoluted thing. I don't know much about their religion or their way of life to comment too much on it. All I know is that is basically what is going on. The source of the dispute.
Yeah, it's sad, like what happened over there at Thailand and Cambodia. But that's only two countries in Southeast Asia. I would say the rest of the other countries are quite peaceful and still doing business as usual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Recently I was in Philippines. Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, they have a war with God right now. Typhoon is coming in, right?
Oh
Zeus sending his thunderbolt.
Yeah, the flood's getting pretty bad right now. So I went there just before the flooding. Yeah,
not making jokes.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
But anyways, I went to Palawan, El Nido.
Yeah, how was that?
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful.
It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, right?
Yeah. There were so many islands. There were different options for you to take. Like if you were to do like island hopping.
Yep.
So they have like 4 or 5 different options. So each option will go to like maybe 4 or 5 different islands.
Okay.
And they're all just as beautiful as the last one.
Right. It's like clear waters and all.
I would say mostly clear waters. There are some parts of the islands that were a bit more convoluted in terms of the water, but some parts were quite clear. But there were a lot of parts where we can actually go snorkeling, and the times that I went snorkeling, I could see a lot of corals.
Right.
like coral reefs.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, that is partly the reason why the water over there is, quite clean, and the beaches are really nice, and, sandy beaches, clear waters. And which brings me to our guest.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's
Recurring, second time on
her
the
second
pod.
time on the podcast. So she's a campaigner from Greenpeace. Previously, she's worked on plastic waste, and right now she is going to talk about deep sea mining.
Wow.
So please welcome to the show, Yan.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for
Thanks.
having me a second time
Of
here
course. Yeah.
on like a different kind of role.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
last time we talked about mostly on plastics,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So let's dive into what deep sea mining is,
Yeah,
because
let's
like
go.
By
it's
the way,
kind of like
I'm-
a trendy topic now.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not sick of us, by the way. Yeah.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's only second time.
Yeah, so by the way, what is deep sea mining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So deep sea mining kind of is like a new development in the mining and extractive industry.
Right.
So where does deep sea mining happens is, mostly in international waters, in deep seas. So they actually mine a lot of precious minerals, metals like cobalt, nickel, manganese, and also rare earth elements as well.
These are in the sea.
Yeah, it's actually very deep sea.
Right.
So on the seabed. So sometimes you might need like some drilling, mining activities, and it causes a lot of different impacts down there.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's international waters, which is our shared resources. It's shared ocean. Yeah.
Okay. So, what, like, other than the minerals and all that, you mentioned this happens in the sea. They like extracting it from the sea. So, which countries are sort of involved? Which international waters are they planning to at least do some deep sea mining?
Yeah. So deep sea mining activities hasn't really happened yet. So it's kind of at the exploratory stage where they have found, resources and like really packed seabed that are really
Right.
packed with all these precious metals, minerals, and rare earth elements down there. Right. So what they are looking at right now is the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
And the biggest players in this deep sea mining industry is actually based in Vancouver, Canada, called the Metals Company. So they actually have a ship it's a very big vessel. Imagine a really big size cargo ship, but they have like all those mining equipment, facilities.
like drills and everything.
Yes, all on top in that vessel, right? Yeah, so that vessel is called Hidden Gem. It's actually owned by Aussies and commissioned by the Metals Company.
Right.
So they are looking at, mining all these shared resources in international waters, our shared ocean territory, to extract all these minerals with the narrative of, we are looking into just energy transition. That's why we need all these precious materials, rare earth elements to help us, transition into renewable energies and making batteries and things like that.
So what's Malaysia's role in this? Why did suddenly Greenpeace Malaysia is suddenly campaigning about this?
Yeah, so actually Greenpeace internationally, our colleagues from other offices had been really in talking about opposing deep sea mining. So it's just happened that we were alerted by our international colleagues
Right.
that the Hidden Gem, that vessel, was actually kind of like parked in Brunei Bay. So it's part
okay.
of the Labuan site lah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so on the Borneo side.
Yeah, on the Borneo side, but it's still within our Malaysian
Yeah, yeah.
waters, our borders, right? So we were alerted that the ship is there. So what we did was like we quickly mobilized ourselves and organized a photo op activity with Sharifa Sofia. So she actually speaks up against a lot of other environmental issues as well. So we reached out to her saying that, hey, are you interested to talk about marine biodiversity and deep sea mining, because she's also a diver. So that's why we had a very interesting and thrilling photo activity that happened on sea against deep sea mining.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah.
So us being there looking at the vessel, right, it's just really shocked us because like it's such a big vessel And all the things, equipments they have there actually would just like blow you away because like how can this ship be at international waters, having such destructive activity to our deep sea, our seabed. Yeah.
So who's what companies are behind this?
Yeah. So the metals company.
The metals company?
Yeah, it's commissioning the Hidden
Yeah,
Gem,
yeah.
the vessel, to actually look into mining the Pacific Ocean, because like why they are parked in Labuan is because like they are en route to the Pacific Ocean. That's why they were parked there. Previously they were at other territories. So all our other Greenpeace colleagues as well also had like activities against them. Also, All Seas HQ in other region. Yeah, so we were alerted of this. We took action. All the fun parts you can see on our social media.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Like you guys were just swimming in the sea with the backdrop of the ship behind you guys, and you were just holding like stop deep sea mining. Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. How do you respond to like certain arguments that maybe they say deep sea mining is necessary for the green transition? For things like rare earth minerals.
I think there's a better way to frame that.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about if deep sea mining is truly as bad as is purported to be, what's the alternative?
Yep. So there's not just environmental impacts to it, right?
Correct.
On deep sea mining.
Okay.
So the marine ecosystem and the entire biodiversity, because like the scientific community are also beginning to look at and exploring new species of what the biodiversity like is down there, because it's so deep, right? It's so dark. It's like completely dark, and photosynthesis, whatnot, the sun rays doesn't even reach down there. So there are so many species down there that we're still exploring, and the marine ecosystem that we have to preserve. And when we talk about like just transitioning, we already have land mining. And with land mining, right, there are really so many contentious issues and problematic practices that already comes with processing, extracting on ground. So what Greenpeace guiding star is, we have to use all these minerals and metals for just transition only, that we transition into renewable energy and not for other non-essential use. And what we propose is, looking into the circular economy and using what we already have above ground. So our old, like our old devices, our old electronics, we need to feed that into the loop and make recycling happen, so that because metals can be indefinitely recycled.
Right.
So we have to focus on that as well. Not just, looking at expanding mining at deep sea, because just transition calls for it. But there are better ways of looking at this. So that's why we are looking at, let's talk about on ground first and look at what we already have above ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, to push back a little bit on that, the thing about rare earth mining, right? Rare earth minerals, rare earth elements, even with the lithium batteries, the lithium that is needed, from what I understand, from the research that I've done, the main issue, at least on an industrial scale, to mass produce, is the fact that when you're mining the ore, right, to get this thing, the raw material, before it turns into the usable lithium, for example, that requires, like, right now, the refining process is only done, right now, the technology is only done by the Chinese, in China, okay? That's one economic roadblock, because it's essentially a monopoly in that sense.
Okay, I understand.
So that makes it more expensive.
So we have to,
that's one.
Okay.
But the bigger issue is that when it comes to mining the raw materials itself, is that you have to mine so much for so little yield.
Right. Okay, I understand.
So you get so little ore from mining, like, for example, a certain cubic meter worth of volume of lithium, for example.
Okay.
And you only get maybe 10, maybe even 1% that is usable lithium from that. So from that argument, that's why the argument exists that you said that deep sea mining is somehow needs to be explored, because we need further avenues, to cultivate
Yeah.
raw material. Because the thing about it is that we are constantly moving towards the green energy thing, right? And while yes, it's being used for transition, but there's also a thing where you need to use it for renewable energy, especially to implement the renewable energy. Because I'm sure you know this as well. Renewable energy is something that is upstream, in the sense that you're using renewable energy to blast it out to the people, via the grid.
like for
Instead of
everyone to
using
have
coal.
access to it.
Instead of using
Yeah,
coal,
okay.
you're trying to use renewable
Get
energy.
everyone to use renewable
Right.
energy. Yeah.
And the start of that is sort of the common colloquial wisdom of that is to use electric over fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Correct?
Uh-huh.
So right now, the problem is not the consumer, because the consumer is already turning in that in that towards that direction, right? The issue is the producer of the energy, the TNBs. Are they using renewable energy or renewable methods to get energy? Like I know Greenpeace also has a problem with this, but it's, if you ask me, it's better for the environment than it is coal, which is like hydroelectric energy. What one way of it. So I don't agree with the fact that you destroy places to build the dams, but if you can find a way to do that without destroying the environment, then that's also another way to have renewable energy. So my point is simply that we are moving into the direction of having more renewable energy, which is more complex delivery systems, if you want to call it, right? Compared to our current grid, electrical grid. So that's what I think. And the devices all require a certain form of battery, because you run on the electric itself. It needs to the battery is needed to store the energy, right? So with less fossil fuel cars, for example, being produced, and more electric cars being produced, is going to cause, or even hybrid cars. It doesn't have to be like pure electric cars. Even hybrid cars use a lot of lithium ion in their engines, in their motors. So in that sense, like,
so you're saying we're going to need to use minerals,
a significant amount more than we already are using now, as the transition happens.
Right. But that goes to the question, like, what are some of the other alternatives? That other than deep sea mining, what else can we do?
Or is really deep sea mining like petroleum exploration? Is it actually
is it just gonna
unfortunately necessary for some reason? Like petroleum. Like, I don't think anyone completely agrees with what, especially offshore drilling does, to the environment, to the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody agrees with those side effects. But everyone lives with the fact that my car needs petrol.
I understand.
Are we moving towards that direction when it comes to these, like, things like deep sea mining and the procurement of rare earth minerals for our use? Like, you can say you can limit it for more industrial users, and you want it less for consumer users, but the industrial users are the people, or the industrial sector is the one that's going to use it the most. You understand? At scale.
Yeah. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's a very good and very lengthy thought. So yes, you can't deny that we do need actually an abundant amount of minerals and metals to help us transition into renewable energy, in terms of, developing technologies and battery storage, and, upgrading the grid system as well, to introduce renewable energy. And like in making solar panels as well, we also need all these minerals. So the thing with deep sea mining is, because it's so contentious, right? It's happening in international waters, where even the International Seabed Authority had, acknowledged and kind of like put out a statement saying that, we are not capable of managing and governing deep sea mining. When we already have, like land mining issues, management practices that are highly problematic already. So international body, right, the ISA, the International Seabed Authority, they are actually just convened their meeting in July last month. And that a lot of the countries that were there for the meeting, right, they were actually saying that, okay, we really need to look and discuss at what deep sea mining is and what are the impacts are. So we already have about like 32 plus countries that have signed on a moratorium. So it's kind of like an embargo to stop deep sea mining.
Okay.
And that there should be at least no-go zones on like really high-reach biodiversity areas. Because we cannot be doing such destructive and irreversible practices like deep sea mining in our shared territories, our shared waters, because it's not just impacting the community that relies on the ocean. It's actually linked to the climate as well, and how, with the new documentary that came out, Ocean, by Sir David Attenborough, that highlights the importance of ocean, right?
Yeah.
So all these destructive practices does also kind of like have impact to climate change as well. So in Greenpeace, right, that's why I said we have the guiding star. It has to be for just energy transition and not for other non-essential uses. And that we want to promote no-go zones. And we have to look at, along the value chain, are human rights being looked at, local communities' impacts, and indigenous peoples as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really can't deny that we do really need the sources.
Right.
But we have to say, and we have to be really clear and really firm, telling the industry, our ocean is not for sale. You can't be doing all these destructive practices just for the sake of you making profits. So we have the TMC company, and with them being kind of like on the fast track lane with the Trump's administration executive order on fast tracking deep sea mining.
Yep.
So we see that this is a moment that we have to rise up. That's why we also have the moratorium. And we also have like big brands, multinational companies, businesses like BMW, Renault, and also a financial institution speaking directly and putting out statements saying that we will not source any minerals at all that comes from deep sea mining. And financial institution has also put out a statement together saying that we have to really look at ocean health and protect the ocean and our marine biodiversity. So it is very political, right? Because like, as mentioned, because China is leading in all this R&D technology, developing batteries and stuff. And we can't deny as well, China has a really rich resources of all this precious minerals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that also kind of like put the US in a position that causes a lot of political tension internationally.
Yeah.
So our offices, Greenpeace US, had done an investigation in the US looking at deep sea mining narrative, marketing, and like why they are looking at, deep sea mining and working with the metals company. So we had this investigation report that just came out this year called Deep Deception. So it's practically like expose on deep sea mining. So that's accessible, publicly available on our website. So it has been found, a moment. Yeah. So Greenpeace US has investigated and reveals that there is a growing evidence that links deep sea mining with military contracts, pro-defense representatives, and also venture capitalists. So you can see that the metals company, so in short, you just call them TMC, okay?
Okay.
So TMC has actually largely pivoted away from using the just energy transition narrative as well, and talking about a lot on national security because of the geopolitical tension with, we need the minerals, resources, and how China has all these resources in their land.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question, because you mentioned a lot about influences from China and also maybe influences from the US. Is Malaysia ready in terms of the terms and regulations to even consider deep sea mining? And what role does countries like China or some of the other countries' influence over what happens in our waters. Is Malaysia ready for that?
So let's talk about like primarily, is Malaysia talking about deep sea mining? It's so new, right?
Yeah,
you don't even see anything
That's true.
on the news,
Yeah.
right? So I would say there has been a lot of insufficient public debate as well in Malaysia on deep sea mining. And we need a lot of all these transparent debate and like statements and positions of the government. Like, are they against or are they in for deep sea mining? We don't have a statement at all from the government, like whether they want to do this, whether they want to support this, or whether they want to stop it. So Greenpeace Malaysia also see that with this building momentum, we are also demanding Malaysia to sign on the moratorium that, the 32 plus countries that have already been signed on. Because we are also a coastal country. And with destructive practices in international waters, eventually will also affect
Yes, that's right.
us.
Yeah.
Right? So the experience globally actually shows that when government kind of like rush into decision without proper consultation with stakeholders, communities, usually we have a lot of all these negative impacts that comes out from it and trickles down from it as well. So we need to learn from other countries that had been, on saying yes to deep sea mining, like Norway. But then after that, there was a lot of public pushback as well on deep sea mining. So that's
And then they stopped.
it's kind of like, okay, we know that's very contentious, so we don't really want to go forward with it yet. But we'll also wait and see what the International Seabed ISA authority is looking
He's
at.
gonna say
Yeah, but it's very clear that from the meeting last month that, the authority had already said, deep sea mining is essentially kind of like illegal. We are not going to support any applications and all of that. So we have talked about a lot on TMC as well. So the ISA has also looked into investigation on TMC's contract as well. And although they had already submitted the application to proceed with deep sea mining, the ISA will kind of like look into it and not, let it happen at this time yet. So that's why coupled with the moratorium, it's very important that all our voices are gathered together to actually stop deep sea mining from actually happening at all. I could not stress more than, saying that our ocean is really not up for sale. And that we have all these global north countries exploiting the resources we have in the global south. Right? So it's actually quite unfair that they are making the decisions there that would actually impact the community here. Yeah.
Can you remind us again who's in ISA?
So ISA is an international seabed authority that looks at and governs the international seabed, marine biodiversity, and all of that.
Which country is?
There are a lot of countries that are actually
in
partners
this.
to
Alright.
it. Yeah, but unfortunately, US is not.
Okay.
So that's why, they
So
have
they don't
the
really
Trump
actually have
executive
any
order.
authority lah.
We do. That's the ISA.
Yeah, no,
the US.
that's what I mean. The ISA doesn't really have much authority because like, one, the moratorium is only signed by like 30 countries.
Okay, so the US doesn't acknowledge.
And the US doesn't
Yes.
acknowledge it.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
the ISA, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ISA probably doesn't have a military component to it.
Okay. I mean,
So-
why should they?
Yeah,
But they are
no,
international.
but if you're talking about policing and enforcing the law,
Okay.
you got to do it. You got to enforce
you
the
gotta
law.
have-
You can't enforce the law by lecturing people.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like you can't
So-
tell the person, okay, you have to obey the law, and if they don't, you lecture them some more.
So should ISA buy military equipment?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that it's a paper tiger.
It's a what?
Is a paper tiger. ISA is essentially a paper tiger in this issue.
Okay.
Because like you can sign all the paper moratoriums they want, whatever, but nothing can be done to stop. If for example, if the US or even if China, either of these countries, or even if Russia chooses to proceed, like what can the ISA do? Like are they going to send people with guns
Yeah.
to stop the
They
operation?
cannot stop it.
They can't do that. So like you see, like I'm not I'm here, I'm just trying to flesh out the argument, like okay, if it's necessary, we oppose this. But if it's not, then we got to see how it goes.
Yeah. So what role does the international pressure play into this? Because like, are we seeing countries like China or the US or different corporation influencing what happens in our waters? Because earlier you mentioned TMC is the company that is supposedly going to execute all this deep sea mining. So my question is, has there been enough transparency from the Malaysian government on this issue?
Yeah, so like I have mentioned, we don't have much from the government, whether they are yes or no on deep sea mining. And it's fairly new and it's not happening in our waters yet. Deep sea mining is actually really primarily focused on international waters and the deep seas. And they have already found out, a specific patch on the Pacific Ocean has a really big cluster of these resources. That's why we had, the hidden gem that was parked in Labuan that was actually en route to the Pacific Ocean, pending on approvals from the ISA to do any mining activities at all. So I would just like to also kind of like briefly sum up on like what are the outcomes that came out from last month's ISA meeting.
Right.
So there was actually no any mining code that was agreed on.
Okay.
So essentially this what this translates is that deep sea mining activity is actually illegal. So no corporations, no country can actually proceed to do any deep sea mining activities.
Yeah.
But
Right.
who is making it illegal?
The
Like,
International
the
Seabed
ISA.
Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they have any authority when it comes to international law? Because as I understand, international waters are international waters. Like,
Yeah.
it's international waters for a reason. No country can govern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the countries are actually a signatory to the UN Convention Law of the Sea already.
Okay.
So that is kind of like that international law on like anything relating to, the ocean, protection and any activities as well. So why the ISA is there? Because they are looking at the governance management and looking at, all these mining activities practices that will happen on the seabed and a lot of this marine protection as well that they have to look at. So from the meeting last month, like I've mentioned, there's no mining code that has been agreed on.
Okay.
So despite a lot of industry push on like, we need this mining code because with this mining code, we know how to proceed with doing mining activities. But since there's no mining code, right, this means that there won't be any approvals on deep sea mining anytime soon. So on top with that, plus the moratorium where countries had already signed on, it actually shows that, a lot of the countries are not agreeable. And they won't be approving any deep sea mining activities as well. Although there's no new deadline that would finalize on how they would come up with a mining code, the government had actually directed the Secretariat of the ISA to come up with a list of any outstanding issues that has remained unsolved from their previous meetings and discussion, and to also include a lot of data, information sharing of knowledge, capacity building on environmental issues and financial, regulatory, procedural, and also institutional matters. So because deep sea mining is practically exploratory stage, activity has not happened yet. So we are still looking at developing kind of like regulation policy on how to properly govern and manage deep sea mining.
Okay.
But we already have backed support and evidence from the scientific community as well that this would cause irreversible damage, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we don't see that there are a lot of benefits to do deep sea mining. When, we have already so contentious and problematic practices on land, because like, as well internationally, right, for on land mining, international bodies like, the UN body are also just starting to look at developing frameworks to properly govern and manage on land mining. So when we are still dealing with that, we really do have to give a really good and deep thought, right? Do we want to proceed into a new territory that we have really previous history had told us that we're not capable of dealing with? Do we want to venture into something new and add more problems to a long list of unsolved problems already? Yeah, so the debate with deep sea mining at international level is kind of like unresolved.
Okay.
But we have known for sure with ISA launching that investigation against TMC, we know that deep sea mining is not going to happen anytime soon. So countries have to back and support that as well with the moratorium. That's why the moratorium is there.
Okay, but what, let's say they just decided to do deep sea mining disregarding the ISA basically. What would happen to them? Because as you mentioned, based from the convention that happened last month, they've decided that deep sea mining is illegal, but somehow the ship is still there at Labuan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure now if they're still there, but when we did a photo op last month, it was there.
Okay, it was there. Okay.
Yeah, like I have said, like they're like actually en route to the Pacific Ocean. But what we have foresee is that with this outcome from the ISA and with the moratorium, the ship might not be going anywhere anytime soon. So they have been actually parked at different territories for quite some times because they have not gotten any approvals to do deep sea mining. And they know that if they proceed, it's an illegal act. Then they will have to, answer to international
law.
pressures, international laws as well.
Okay.
And we actually do have, the ISA are also looking at all the other subcontracts that, TMC is putting out. So that's why we are also seeing their share prices has been, falling the past few months, the few days, few weeks. Yeah, so we see that with international pressure, we could actually do something about it. So we do really have a really good debate and discussion, conversation on do we really want to proceed with deep sea mining when we already have so many red flags and warning signs given to us by the scientist communities and all the other countries. So for Malaysia instances, we are not really yes, no yet, right? But we have a lot of all the other Pacific island states that have already been really vocal against deep sea mining because it does really impact their coastal communities and indigenous people a lot. Yeah.
You mentioned that, obviously deep sea mining will do irreparable damage. And we mentioned something along the lines of the indigenous people who will be affected. So who are these indigenous people? Who stands to lose the most out of deep sea mining?
Yeah, so in terms of indigenous people and communities, the most affected ones will be near the coastal communities.
Coastal communities, okay.
Yeah, because they rely on fishing quite heavily and a lot of traditional practices as well. So when the marine ecosystem and biodiversity are being disrupted, or because now it's already at that stage. But if deep sea mining aggravates to that, we won't have a healthy marine ecosystem to support our daily activities as well, because it's also highly linked to carbon sequestration and climate change as well. So there are a lot of talks with how we have to protect ocean health in order to protect the entire kind of community, the people, and the entire planet as well.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, if let's say something bad happens and there's a major leakage or something out of the deep sea mining, it would affect the coastal territories, you know what I mean? And we won't be able to enjoy the beautiful beaches
like El Nido.
Like El Nido, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need more of that in Malaysia. So yeah, I think it's a good thing you guys are focusing on that. But we have a few more questions for you. So basically, zooming out, So how are other countries in I wouldn't say in international waters, but the countries in ASEAN, how are they handling deep sea mining? Can Malaysia learn anything from any of the other countries?
Yeah, so ASEAN countries are taking varied approaches and regional concerns about ocean protection, but not specifically on deep sea mining yet. Like I've mentioned, it's a fairly new technology, and not a lot of these technologies sometimes fall under the country radar, because like each country might have different approaches and priorities. So what we see as ASEAN nation is that a lot of us are also coastal countries. So we should also learn from other countries' past mistakes, and also how the Pacific nations, the island states, had, so vocally stand up against deep sea mining. We also have to like see and learn from them as well. Like, why are they so vocal about this? Is this something that should fall under the radar that we should really look at as well? So ASEAN is actually looking at developing and declaring a right to clean, healthy, safe environment, right? We hopefully that's coming soon. We hope that it's going to be there, so that there is actually this framework there to look at, protecting the community in terms of us having clean air, safe waters, secure food security, and all of that. Yeah, so definitely it will affect all of us, not just ASEAN, because it's international waters, it's our shared resources. And I just like to tell my message again, our ocean is not for sale, right? We do really have to keep that in mind. Are they supposed to be making profits while us facing the brunts?
No?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that goes to our last question for the episode. What can the ordinary Malaysians do? Let's say if they are concerned about this, they want to improve the marine ecosystem around Malaysia, maybe not just in Labuan, but in some other parts of the country. What can they do, and how can they get involved in this?
Yeah, so like an ordinary person like me, right? I don't come from any engineering or like tech, RE background. So learning about the deep sea mining does actually help as well. So do read up the news, educate yourself, and like do listen to what the scientific community has to say, because they are the one, so highly engrossed in doing all these researches and study. And like, why are we not listening to them instead of listening to big corporations saying that we have to proceed with all these activities because we need the money to do?
It's all the money.
Yeah, we need the money and we need the minerals for like just transition. But there are also other alternatives that we could also look at. While we have the moratorium in place, more R&D can be done, and like there could be new technology that may come up that will have lesser reliant on minerals, and like how we could use energy efficiently. So we call that energy efficiency, and also how we can do better storage, and like I've mentioned, circularity of what we already have above ground. So yeah, definitely number one, educate yourself. And also, you don't have to just stop at looking at just deep sea mining for the ocean. You can also go for beach cleanups, in general, like just do what you can within your capacity and capability, right? And definitely we also want the people, when they know and have known about deep sea mining, to also, kind of like come together and demand the Malaysian government to actually have a position and kind of like support the global community already on signing the moratorium. On top of that, we have a global oceans treaty that look at, protecting at least 30% of our marine biodiversity rich areas by 2030. So I don't think Malaysia had signed on to that yet. So the deadline is actually 20 September this year. It's the very, very last chance Malaysia has to sign on to that, to be engaged in a lot of the sharing meeting, knowledge sharing session, capacity building, information sharing, technology sharing on how we could better protect our oceans and waters. Yeah, so a demand for global oceans treaty as well is also important. Yeah, and also, keep track with what Greenpeace has to say and all our other allies. So we work really close with the High Seas Alliance as well, that they had been very diligently looking into deep sea mining.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that marks the time that we have for today's episode. Jay, do you have anything, any last words?
No.
No? Yeah, I would say thank you so much.
Thank you, Itu Yan,
for coming for the second time.
Yeah.
We appreciate having you guys from Greenpeace, collaborating with us. This is what, the sixth episode
with Greenpeace, yeah. probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
Yeah, thank you guys so
Yeah.
much for agreeing to come, and
No problem.
I'm glad you guys are not sick of us.
Yeah.
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 Hopefully you guys are gonna come to our show again anytime. Is there any last message that you guys want that you want to give to our viewers before the end of the episode?
Yeah, so definitely ocean protection is very important. So you can't deny that already, because so many people, so many organizations, and Sir David Attenborough has specifically spoke out and advocate for the ocean with his new documentary on ocean's health that links to our planetary health, right? So yeah, my most important message is our ocean should be protected.
Yeah,
It's not for sale.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to stop deep sea mining, and that's why Greenpeace is looking at talking and
Alright.
exposing deep sea mining.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you guys wanna learn more about this, you just go on Greenpeace Malaysia's website. I'm sure they have everything on there.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Do comment if you think we should talk about anything that you think is important, or have anyone that you think we should have on the show. Do let us know in the comments. And until then, see you next time. Bye.
Save the dolphins.
Let's go.